Welcome to the Series Sweep podcast, where I am recapping each and every single Dodgers series for the 2020 season. You can find me, Eric Eulau, on Twitter at EEULAU. You can find me on Instagram under that same handle, EEULAU, where I posted 3 words I never thought I would say in my life, link in bio. Humbling moment, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I hope everyone enjoyed the Dodgers sweeping the Los Angeles Angels this weekend. A hot weekend in Los Angeles and throughout most of California. Hope everyone got a good barbecue in there. Maybe a safe, socially distanced trip to the beach or a nearby park. Whatever you're into. Whatever you're into. But the Dodgers, first time in a long time, sweep the Los Angeles Angels. Mike Trout got Walker Buehler for a home run yesterday. That was Saturday's game. Anthony Rendon had some nice hits, of course, because it's Anthony Rendon. He's just always going to kill the Dodgers. It is what it is. But on the whole, the Dodgers starting rotation, Clayton Kershaw on Friday night, Walker Buehler on Saturday, Dustin May today, pitched well. I would say Clayton Kershaw pitched the best, allowing just 1 earned run and carrying a no-hitter through the 5th inning. So there are your scores: 7-4 on Friday, 6-5 in a 10-inning, extra inning nail-biter, punched out with punctuated with Kenley Jansen's save against Mike Trout as the last out, strikeout looking. It was beautiful. Game 3 was today, 8-3. The Dodgers had this one in the bag pretty early. For those of you that had Sunday afternoon plans, not a tough decision to get away from the TV and or illegal MLB stream. If you do that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that I do. If you do that kind of stuff. The series scored 21-12. The bats were really active. It was great to see the offense clicking. And I think a huge reason the offense is clicking is because Dave Roberts finally did what he should have done a long time ago. To start the season, he installed Mookie Betts as the leadoff, regardless of the handiness of the pitcher. Lefty, righty, doesn't matter. Mookie Betts right now is the leadoff batter, and you can see what it's done for this team. They're averaging 7 runs a game in this 3-game set. I think largely a big part of that is Betts setting the table early on. There are no easy strikes against him. It's a fantastic way to start your lineup. And when you have maybe the second, third best player in the majors, why don't you put him in the spot he's most comfortable in, which is the leadoff spot? Don't know why it took Dave Roberts. And if you're one of those Andrew Friedman sets the lineup people, okay, great. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Then you should be glad that Andrew Friedman finally started putting Mookie Betts at first base. The offense was fantastic. It looked like an American League series, especially based upon the opponent. A lot of runs going on. Clayton Kershaw looked good after a really, really wobbly first inning where there was a lot of contact. The control wasn't there. You were kind of nervous, and he started to pick up some momentum and just a ton of groundouts. A lot more groundouts than you're used to with seeing with Clayton Kershaw. And after that 6th inning, when you knew he was probably going to roll Kershaw out there again, I get a little nervous and protective of Kershaw, because when he's only 1 earned through 6, which was just that Rendon home run, with I don't know if he's ever going to be able to get Anthony Rendon out. Clayton Kershaw even admitted it in an interview. I want to protect his ERA, and it's not because of the record he has of, the lowest starting ERA since 1920, whatever. It's more that you want to build his confidence, and it's this: you still have him on that really high pedestal that he may still not be quite there, and so you have an opportunity. You're like, Dave, just pull him. We're 6 through. He's fine. Just pull him. Job well done. Check the box. Of course, easier said than done. You're asking a Hall of Famer to pull out of a game that he's pitched really well in. That's not going to fly. That game 1, really incredible. Great way to kick it into the weekend. Game 2, 6-5, the nail-biter. Walker Buehler giving up a ton of runs again. He looked really, really shaky. And I think all in all, you have Betts with a 2 RBI right after Trout's home run in the bottom of the first. I thought that was kind of fun to watch. Watch Mike Trout hit a 2-run bomb, and then watch Betts get a 2 RBI hit. 2 AL MVPs going at it. That was incredible. And this is also a series 2 where you had, if I'm doing my math right, you had 5 MVPs in this series. You had Albert Pujols and Mike Trout for the Angels, and then you had Clayton Kershaw, Mookie Betts, and Cody Bellinger for the Dodgers. A lot of stars. I know Pujols isn't what he used to be. The dude can still hit for power. something that just kind of hit you when you're watching this series. You're like, wow, there's a ton of MVPs in this series. But that game 2, the nail biter, the scratcher, Mookie Betts ties it up in the 7th, and they get to extras, in which I think has our chemistry-changing moment of the series. Chris Taylor starts out at second due to the new extra inning rules, and I loved him stealing third base. And I think the chemistry-changing moment of the series is something that I try to use to pick something that's not the super obvious, oh, it's the home run that set them ahead for that game and they won the next game. Sometimes I try to use to think outside the box, but like a lot of things in life, sometimes the simplest answer is the best answer. And when you have a guy who gets from second to third with no outs in extra innings, that swings the momentum of the game and this series. I thought there was kind of teetering. Who knows what happens today? If the Angels win yesterday, you never know. Not so fast. Max Muncy, who also had a 2-run home run today, last night, Saturday, hits that sac fly to bring Chris Taylor in. And Max Muncy is the proud owner of the first ever sacrifice fly for a game winner. Nice work in extras in this new extra inning format, I should say. Going back to it, game 3 today, you had Dustin May. Not his best stuff at all, not even close. But most importantly for game 3, you had the debut of catching phenom, Keibert Ruiz, who hit a home run, his first career at bat, pulled one down the line for a home run. Really good stuff against Julio Teheran, who is completely washed up. God bless him. Would love to trade paychecks with him. That dude just cannot pitch anymore. And you saw Joe Madden, the lack of confidence with Julio Teheran pulling him maybe a little bit earlier than you'd think. I believe it was 3-1 when he pulled Julio. But Keibert Ruiz, a great debut in a game the Dodgers essentially tried to throw away. They sat Turner. They threw a rookie in there who learned, I guess, yesterday or maybe the day before that he was going to start in this game from Dave Roberts. It was a throwaway game. It was, hey, if we lose this game, we still won the series 2-3. We're still looking good. We're still right where we want to be. We haven't torched the bullpen. Things are great. Blah, 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 blah. They throw Keibert Ruiz in there. They end up winning the game. They end up getting up early. And it's exciting to see a young player like that get a good knock. Looks like he handled May pretty well. I'd imagine he caught May a little bit in the minors here and there. Really exciting stuff to see. But Dustin May just left a lot of stuff out over the plate. He just got dinked and dunked. 2 earned, 7 hits. The strikeouts, he only had 2 strikeouts. And I think if May's going to be at his best, he needs to be a strikeout guy. I think we all know that, especially after both of those Padres games where he started. You saw what he looks like at his most dominant. But you see the average there for the Dodgers to get back to the offense in how this had an American League feeling this series. 288. Runners all over the place, plenty of traffic, a boatload of home runs, 2 multi-home run games where they hit at least 2 home runs, and that is what powered them over the Angels, who, stop me if you heard this before, don't have any pitching. I repeat, this just in, the Angels, sources, don't have any pitching. Shocker, who knew? It's almost like it's been like that for 15 years, 20 years, ever since they won the World Series. The bullpen looked okay. 3.27 ERA. It's hard to come back and do what you did against the Padres when they were sub 1.5. They did what they needed to do to win the series. They didn't give up a ton of runs. I think that game 1 score of 7-4, a little misleading. There were some runs late there. I heard Joe Madden in the interviews like, "Oh, we got to Kenley," because Kenley got a kind of a backdoor save in game 1 when we had to throw him in there. Not that close. But game 2, like I said, went to extras. Nail biter. I loved the highlight of game 2 has to be Kenley Jansen knocking out the save against Mike Trout, getting him strikeout looking against Mike Trout. Jansen looked really good. The velocity was there, and I'll stand by what I said that we're never going to get old Kenley back, but this new iteration seems to be getting it done, and as long as he can execute like he did in this Angels series, you still have an above-average closer. I just don't think he's ever going to be lights out again. The ERA on the whole, you see there, 3.66, pretty solid. They're not going to be sub-3 the whole year as a team, but it is what it is. The stat of the series, they had at least 2 runs in 7 different innings in this series. And when this Dodgers offense is rolling and the pitching is adequate at worst, which I think it was above adequate. But even if you get average pitching out of the Dodgers and they're putting up multi-run innings, they are tough to keep up with, just the length in that lineup. You have all of a sudden Max Muncy's hitting. All of a sudden Cody Bellinger's hitting. Mookie Betts is on fire. Seager had a 3-run bomb today. The bats looked fantastic. To get to our last piece of info here, Steve Pearce Award, that is the player that outplays the name on the back of the jersey, and that would be Angel shortstop David Fletcher, the pride of Orange County. Had a hit in at least every game and had some fantastic plays out there defensively. And when you have to replace Andrelton Simmons, who's a 4-time Gold Glover, 1-time Platinum Glove winner, look that up, kids, if you don't know what it is, a absolute beast defensively. And when you can replace him with a guy who is still a plus glove and is a much better hitter than Andrelton Simmons, that's pretty exciting. So Steve Pearce Award goes to David Fletcher. Had some really nice stops, some acrobatic plays on top of getting a hit in each and every single game as the Angels leadoff hitter. To roll it, keep rolling it forward. Here we go. Next 4 games against the Seattle Mariners, who are in the cellar, the absolute cellar of the AL West. It's 2 games in Los Angeles and then 2 games in Seattle. Should probably put up a Twitter poll. Is it 2-game series, or is it 1 series that's a home and away series? You decide. You tell me. You can drop in at Eric Yulo on the Twitters there. So Monday you have Dunn versus Stripling. Tuesday you have Gonzalez versus Gonsolin. Wednesday you have Taijuan Walker versus TBD. I think that's going to be Julio Urias. We just haven't announced it yet. We're pulling a Gabe Kapler here, throwing up some TBDs as usual. And then Thursday should be Kershaw, considering he pitched Friday. You would think that would be right where he would land. And then you'd give Walker Buehler, who's really struggling that Friday start. Now, to get back to Walker Buehler, the velocity's been good, but the command has not. He's not been able to mix his pitches well and get them all for strikes. There was a ton of fastballs that weren't even close in his start. And then when you're just hanging your breaking stuff over the plate against teams that can hit, you're going to struggle. Still think he's our best pitcher. I don't think there's any doubt there. Still think he can turn around this season. We're a third of the way through. I'm sure you've heard it a million times. He doesn't have too much longer to figure it out. Maybe he's one of those guys who is just going to have a rough regular season, and we'll see the Walker Buehler of old, the guy that pitched like absolute dynamite in that heartbreaker of a Game 5 against the Nationals. I think his stuff is still really good. I'm completely miffed why he just stopped throwing during the second off season. I don't know what that's about. I'm sure there's something else there. He needs to be better. If we're going to win the World Series, you cannot have Walker Buehler giving up 4 or 5 earned in each start. I'll say that right now. I'll put my flag in the ground on that one. Let's call a spade a spade. The ace does not look right, pun intended. So that's our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The start times are a little funky. So Monday you have 6:40. Then Tuesday you have 4:10. It's a getaway game, even though they're playing the same team. And then Wednesday you have 6:40, and then Thursday you have 4:10. A couple of things I was not a huge fan of in this series that I think the Dodgers did poorly. One is just play Jock Peterson. 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts, swinging out of his shoes. He pretty much does like a 270 every time he swings. He just looks so out of control, so off balance. I am done with Jock, and I know there's a lot of Dodger fans out there who are with me. I want a contact guy. I would trade the home runs, which are cheap and easy to find these days with how many home runs everybody hits and the home run rate and the strikeouts and the home run rate and the live ball and the launch angle. I'm good with giving up the guy that all he can do is play against right-handed starters, can't hit against lefties, and all he can does is hit home runs. And he has above average speed and an above average glove. Great. I'd rather have a contact hitter that'll hit around 280, 300 that we can play against lefties, righties, who when it's 2 outs and 2 on, I don't use as an excuse to go get a beer or make a quick pick stop at the bathroom, because I know with Jock Peterson up with 2 outs, he's either going to strike out or he's going to strike out, because he just does not make contact. He does not put the ball in play. It's either a home run or a strikeout. The 2 home run game against San Diego was awesome. He was a big reason we won that game, and I'm not saying he hasn't done things for us. I'm just saying I'm out. I'm done on Jock. I'm not holding my breath anymore. He's a strikeout king. Home runs are cheap. Let's go get a contact hitter next year. Goodbye. See you later. I'm sure the Angels are probably pretty happy they ended up trading for you because you stunk this series. He's not a contact guy. It's brutal when there's runners on and you just need a hit, just a single, or bunt against the shift, which he's done this year at least once. I don't trust him, not one bit. He still can't hit elevated fastballs, which as a professional hitter at the major league level, as a veteran at this point, the fact that you can't hit elevated fastballs against, and I'm not talking about not hitting elevated fastballs against Justin Turner or Zach Greinke or Shane Bieber or you name it, the top guys in the MLB. Or Max Scherzer. I'm Jacob deGrom. I could keep going. I'm talking about when you're striking out against fourth and fifth starters, guys who have been career journeymen, and you just can't dial it in. And I hear over and over again how Jock's a fastball hitter. It's like, well, he certainly seems to strike out on a lot of fastballs. So I think it's more that he's absolutely god-awful at hitting off speed, and he's slightly above average at hitting fastballs, and that makes him a fastball hitter. Like everything in life, I guess it's relative. The other thing, not a big fan of right now, Blake Trinan. Like Joe Kelly, doesn't know where the ball goes half the time. It's like, yeah, power sinker, 98. Oh, it's just sweet, man. Look at the spin. Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great when it's diving down just out of the zone. It's not great when you're walking a ton of dudes. It's not great when you have clearly absolutely no command and you're taking an extra 10, 15 seconds in between your pitches because you know that you don't have your command. That's not good. And just the way it was scored, his worst outing, his absolute worst outing was against Arizona, which he gave up 4 runs, but none of them were earned. If you adjust that for his ERA, it should be 4.82. 4.82. Instead, it's sub 1. So I don't think the scoring is what it is. I'm not going to abdicate. I've already had my soapbox session with Jock Peterson. I'm not abdicating for changing how we score earned runs for relievers. Not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to factor in that his absolutely worst start statistically did not hit his ERA because of how it was scored and because of the situation. And that's fine. But he gave up a ton of contact there. He was really, really wild and not effectively wild. He's had multiple times. He's had one appearance where he walked 2 guys. And if you're going to be the backup, the oh shit scenario for if Kenley Jansen starts falling apart, you cannot be walking dudes like that. That's just not happening. Right now, if you ask me today, hey, Kenley is out for a week, who do you want to close? Maybe this is me hopping on the hype train a little bit. I'm throwing Brusdar Graterol in there, Brother Gatorade. I want to see that guy. That guy can pitch. I love how ferocious he is, and I love how he attacks people. And guess what? I think he has better control than Blake Trinan, which is the best part. I think he's struck out some really good hitters. He's had key strikeouts against Manny Machado and Tatis, who are, I think, both great hitters. I like his confidence. I would much rather have him than Blake Trinan. There's a reason Blake Trinan had a god-awful year last year. I'm not completely selling my stock. I'm just saying I'm going to hold all my Blake Trinan stock right now and not make a huge decision on him. Him and Jock Peterson right now, for me, are just 2 glaring weaknesses. At least Kike, who I got on last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. At least he can still play some pretty solid defense. He had a weird error in this Angels series. Not that big of a deal. To get to the standings, the Dodgers 16-7 in first, 2 games ahead of the Colorado Rockies, who are starting to cool off just a bit. They are 2-4 in their last 6, and that pitching staff, who's currently tied for 11th in ERA, has just got lit up in the last 6 games for an ERA of 7.83. Right behind them is the Padres. And for your injury news, Joe Kelly's suspension reduced to 5 games. So he should be back next week. Alex Wood, bullpen session. He should be coming back. I'll save my speech for when Roberts decides to give Dustin May Alex Wood's spot. More on that later. One of my personal favorites, a guy who does not get enough playing time, Tony Gonsolin. Really excited to see him on Tuesday. The other injury update, Will Smith on the IL with some neck soreness.